So we got an absolute treat last night being NBA fans, and having the last game of the regular season actually means something. There was direct playoff implications in this Clippers and Warriors game, and it had everything you could ever want. This had playoff-like atmosphere on both ends of the floor. We saw Curry keep the Warriors in the game down the stretch, Jimmy Butler doing his thing, and the point of this video, we saw Kawhi and Harden show flashes of their prime selves, looking very, very good offensively. It was such a good game, in fact, that regulation couldn't decide a winner. It had to go to overtime, and it just felt absolutely fitting. Now let's get into the breakdown. I know this video is about Harden and Kawhi, but I want to give Big Zoo his flowers. He has been a big part of this Clippers run and why they've been so successful. On this play, for example, when he gets the ball in the low post, see how Harden's defender goes down there to help? It just gets him out of position, and then Harden's just attacking a weak closeout there, and then hits the step back to create extra separation for the jump shot. Kawhi being so physically gifted is what gives him an advantage. Being so strong and fast allows him to create the separation here, and in transition gets all the way to the rim, going coast to coast. This is what's been missing in his game, whether it's through injuries or whatever, but this is looking like his elite self of old and physical dominance. Harden's longevity cannot be understated here. Is this 2018 Harden or 2025? Literally just going one-on-one, isolating, lulling him to sleep with the between the legs, blows by him, and then creates that contact and still finishes through it. Just look at the angle he goes to get downhill. Straight towards the basket, not letting Podziemski have any angle to cut him off. Harden's so good and skilled at using these angles to his advantage to create space for him to get driving lanes to the basket. I want to point out the floor spacing here first. Everybody's on the weak side of the floor to give the pick and roll the most space possible with Harden. Looney's just in drop coverage, which I think is a mistake against Harden, as he can just dominate in the drop coverage. He's good enough to where he can pull up on a dime and make these shots easily, but also be a playmaker within that drop coverage. When there's not a lot of on-ball pressure, he's going to be able to take advantage of that. When Kawhi's fully healthy, he's showing signs of just not being able to be stopped. One-on-one against Buddy Hield in the post, and look at that contact. He just fights right through it, really like it's not even there. I think it's so underrated how strong Kawhi is and how much he can affect the game through his strength on offense. Again, they go to Zubac in the low post, and Draymond has to help off. He's too big. And then Kawhi just rises up and hits the shot. These are the types of shots we saw him hitting in that Toronto run when they won the championship. Good little flex screen action here. Kawhi sets it, then just holds off Jimmy Butler to post up. Harden's then able to make a nice over-the-top pass and get the easy basket. It's stuff like this that makes people optimistic about Kawhi's health and his ability to be dominant in the playoffs going forward. What's impressive about this too is he blows by Draymond Green, who's a great defender, and rises up for the nice slam. It's good to see Kawhi being explosive again. On this play, it's just a miscommunication here. Both Curry and Moody end up going with Chris Dunn, and then Harden's so patient, takes a huge step to rip through that closeout and get to the lane to get to his great floater that he has a super elite touch with. Harden's so good at reading and reacting to what the defense gives him to take advantage of. Swing here, and Podziemski's out of position, attacking that closeout again. Jimmy Butler's going to come up with the help and gets the easy dish off to Zubac for the dunk. The Clippers have nice movement in the half-court set. Only certain players can guard Kawhi Leonard. Using the screen here to get the mismatch they want, and Curry gets on him. Curry doesn't want to guard him, so he immediately switches but leaves Leonard open, and he just takes advantage of the easy three. Harden can create so many opportunities for others. Driving to the rim, gets an up fake just to get a little separation. Jimmy's then forced to slide to the corner for help, leaving Kawhi open at the top of the key for the wide open shot. Nice little two-man game and an example of how Harden can open up shots for others. Probably the most impressive part of Kawhi's performance tonight was just how physical he was, and doing this all against Jimmy and Draymond, who are great defenders in their own right. He's so good at getting to his spots, and he's just so long that he can rise up without the contest really affecting the shot. And he's just so good in that mid-range area. Mismatch hunting again. They get what they want here with Curry on him. He takes a mistake by stepping up. Harden reads that and just attacks his momentum going down the hill. Help comes through Draymond, and it just gives the easy dunk to Zubac. Truly one of the best isolation players to ever do it. One-on-one, Buddy Hield stops on a dime, gets him leaning, and then just rises into that nice sidestep three, knocks it down. This is truly flashes of prime Harden. His steady play has kept the Clippers afloat all year. This is just confidence with Kawhi Leonard. He's just saying he's better than Buddy Hield. One-on-one, way above the three-point line. Gets him leaning nice into the crossover, and then he's out of position already. And like I said, with the length of Kawhi, you're not going to be able to contest it to make it matter, and he's just able to hit the shot over him. It was super cool to see these two close the game down the stretch. Again, one-on-one here. The shot clock's running down. He picks the ball up low, so Jimmy can't get a hand on it, and then just throws up kind of a prayer, but to have the balance to get a good shot on that is pretty impressive. The Clippers are just putting their star guys in positions to make plays and make the right choices here. They move Ben Simmons to the dunker spot. In case help comes, they can throw the lob, but he just gets to his spot. Gets to the middle of the lane, nice little pivot to the fadeaway shot. He loves that shot in there. It is his spot in the mid-range, and he's able to get it off with a good clean look. Even when the Warriors tried to send double teams, it didn't really work. The middle of the floor was open, and the Clippers would send a guy right to the middle. And once Kawhi gets them the ball, it's basically a 4-on-3 opportunity, and it's just beating a zone. Once the ball's to the middle, it's pretty much impossible not to make the right read, and he just rises up for the floater as he stayed with Zubac down in the paint. At this point, the Warriors were trying anything to stop these guys, so they went to zone, but even they were destroying that as well. Draymond gets switched onto him, but he goes inverse between the legs to create the separation, knock down the jump shot. The way they're playing, it doesn't matter what defense you throw at them, they're going to find a way to get an open look and take advantage of that. And then at the end of the game here, Harden hits 2 threes to keep him in it and eventually go on to win the game. This was an awesome final regular season game. It was great to see, and if it gives us anything of what the playoffs are going to look like, a preview, then I'm super excited because the Clippers are playing at an elite level. The Warriors are too, but I'm very excited. I think the dark horse team in the West is probably this Clippers team because when a Kawhi Leonard-led team is 100% healthy, we've seen what he can do in the past. It's led to a championship. And I think this team has that same type of potential with their depth and their way they play on defense. They can switch on everything. They have a solid skill set, base, personnel team, and I'm excited to see what happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is this team primed to make a run?